everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point. And today I am going to do something that I tend not to do, and that's get involved in politics. But your president is off the chain this weekend, so we're going to go ahead and address his issues.
Till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
So there's a chant that the protesters use when they're out protesting against police shootings, and it says, "Which side do you stand on?" Well, I think Donald Trump has made it very clear which side he stands on, because if his response during the whole Charlottesville fiasco didn't reveal his true heart and mindset, his actions over the past 24 hours clearly does. So I still can't believe that this man has been in office for 9 months, but then again, it takes 9 months to birth a baby, and it appears that the baby he is birthing is coming out wearing a white hood instead of a white diaper. So unless you've been off the grid or in a coma, you know that Donald Trump is in the midst of some form of mental health crisis. Not sure why they're not giving him his medication or forcing him to take his medication, but he is all over the place. And if it isn't mental illness that has a hold of him, then it's diarrhea of the mouth. So last night he was doing a speech in Alabama in support of I can't remember the guy's name, who is up for re-election or up for trying to run for office. So his comments basically have just overshadowed what he was even there for, because he decided that he was going to take a jab at Colin Kaepernick and the NFL, and what he said essentially amounted to a tirade calling the NFL to fire, in his words, the sons of bitches. So not only are you talking about the players, but you got to bring their mamas into it also, who refuse to stand for the national flag or stand for the national anthem and salute the flag. And well, you can listen to it for yourself.
And everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, "Get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired." Wouldn't you love it? Some owner's going to do that. He's going to say, "That guy that disrespects our flag, he's fired." And that owner, they don't know it. They don't know it. They're friends of mine, many of them. They don't know. They'll be the most popular person for a week. They'll be the most popular person in this country, because that's a total disrespect of our heritage. That's a total disrespect of everything that we stand for, okay? Everything that we stand for. And I know we have freedoms, and we have freedom of choice and many, many different freedoms. But you know what? it's still totally disrespectful. And you know, when the NFL ratings are down massively, the NFL ratings are down massively. Now, the number one reason happens to be that they like watching what's happening on, with yours truly. They like what's happening. Because, today, if you hit too hard, right? They hit too hard, 15 yards, throw him out of the game. They had that last week. I watched for a couple of minutes, and two guys just really beautiful tackle. Boom, 15 yards. The referee gets on television. His wife is sitting at home. She's so proud of him. They're ruining the game, right? They're ruining the game. Hey, look, that's what they want to do. They want to hit, okay? They want to hit, but it is hurting the game. But you know what's hurting the game more than that? When people like yourselves turn on television and you see those people taking the knee when they're playing our great national anthem. The only thing you could do better is if you see it, even if it's one player, leave the stadium. I guarantee things will stop. Things will stop. Just pick up and leave. Pick up and leave. Not the same game anymore anyway.
Okay, can someone please tell me who the we, you, and us are that he keeps referring to? So he is like so divisive. Like it is so clear in his rhetoric that he is dividing the country and that he's catering to his racist and white supremacist fan base, his followers, and that he is basically disregarding a certain portion of the country, basically the African Americans or anyone who doesn't stand with him or support him. And some of those comments that he made, like when he was calling on the owners, because and I wish I had written down the list, but there's like 10 NFL owners that have donated like $1 million to his campaign. So I think that was like code word to them. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm here for you. You part of my team. I need you to get on board. Like, I don't know what he is. I have no idea. No clue. No clue. Because I've never been crazy. So it's hard for me to understand the mind of a crazy person. And as my sister would say when my dad had dementia, was that it doesn't help to get upset by the things that they say because they don't know they're crazy. So you're just arguing with them and then they're about to make you crazy. But Donald Trump, you are not going to make me crazy. So his tirade elicited a prompt response from Roger Goodell of the NFL, but in my opinion, he didn't go far enough because in his statement, he never mentions Trump by name. And I'm thinking like, no, when you're dealing with people like that, you got to say their name. You got to call them out and let them know I am talking to you, that this message is for you. But here's the statement. You guys can read it and let me know what you think. So as you can imagine, many current and former athletes took to Twitter to address the offensive comments. Some went in hard, others were pussyfooting around, still afraid of losing their jobs and, not alienating their teammates and that type of stuff. But even our girl Jemele Hill got in on that action. So here is, and she actually said in her tweet that she wouldn't be surprised if on Sunday we see more athletes joining in on the protest. And if we don't see more athletes joining in, if we don't have more people, fans of the NFL joining in on the NFL boycott, then we got a serious problem here in America. But, here are some of the comments that the players and Jemele had.
Keep us forever in the
So, as if the whole Colin Kaepernick breakdown wasn't enough, then he gets up this morning and decides to go after Steph Curry because Steph Curry said that, he doesn't feel comfortable going to the White House, under the current administration because, he doesn't stand for what this man believes in. And then Trump says, well, if you don't want to come, then I'm disinviting you. And then LeBron James replied and said, how do you disinvite somebody who then already uninvited themselves? But here are some of a couple of the comments from the whole Steph Curry ordeal. So I guess we can officially accept that Colin Kaepernick will never play in the NFL again unless some mighty act of God comes down. But it doesn't really matter because Trump's line in the sand has been drawn, and Colin's message has gone to a whole other level. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you, Colin, for ripping the scab off America's dirty, shameful hypocrisy. And, and one thing that I tell people all the time is that, during the civil rights era, there were a lot of gains. We had the Montgomery boycott, the Freedom Riders, enacted, interstate where they couldn't segregate people on the buses during interstate travel, as like the Greyhound buses and that type of thing. Then we had the Voters' Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act. We had the Pullman porters that were back in the 20s and the 30s fighting for their rights. But all these gains, the board versus Brown versus the Board of Education, all the legislation that came during the Civil Rights era came from executive orders by the president and Supreme Court decisions. The Supreme Court had to step in and overturn, or create the laws that were causing discrimination. So I think what we're experiencing now is a result of that, because people don't understand that the civil rights movement changed laws, but it didn't change the hearts of people. So now we have the descendants of those hateful people, those racist people, those bigoted people, and now it's rising up again. And now we have a president in office who isn't going to look at the current situation and say, hey, this is a problem and this is what we need to do with it. Instead, he's going to feed the frenzy and support the nonsense that's taking over. And so I think the whole Colin Kaepernick, kneeling for the flag has just God's way of saying, if y'all don't want to pay attention to what's happening, I'm going to throw it up in your face and make you see it. So thank you, Colin, for bringing it to the forefront. Now we have to decide as Americans how we're going to deal with the issue. Are we going to go back 50, 60 years? Or are we going to move forward as a progressive nation that's all inclusive and respectful of everyone? So, too bad the president, hasn't shown as much passion for the people who've been devastated by natural disasters as he has for athletes who are basically utilizing their First Amendment rights, because the Trump administration has yet to call for aid to Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands after they've been devastated not by one but by two Category 5 storms. And I believe he has no clue that these islands are part of the U.S., that they're U.S. territories. And it reminds me, several weeks ago, when he made a tweet where he said that he likes living in D.C. at the White House, but the U.S. will always be his home. And I'm like, okay, does he not realize that Washington, D.C. is a part of the U.S.? It's a territory that's owned by the U.S. And so he really reminds me of people that say that Africa is a country, they don't realize that Africa is an entire damn continent. So I don't know what we have in the White House, but we got to be vigilant. We got to pay attention and understand that not only is he probably like a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but he's also trying to distract us from the Russia investigation, the whole North Korea saga that's unfolding before our eyes. and whatever else he has gone on. Like, he may be doing all of this, orchestrating all this nonsense so that we would lose focus of those things. And then he's so petty because I have yet to hear him come out and give condolences, offer aid, or anything to Mexico, who today was hit by the third earthquake in the matter of 2 weeks. So, guys, we need to be vigilant. We need to be paying attention. We need to be praying. We need to be activating. We need to be focused, because this man is about to take us to a place that we really don't want to go. And I can remember, growing up and being in history class and learning about dictators and just always wondering, like, how are dictators formed? Like, how do they get an entire nation, an entire country to follow behind their nonsense? And I think we're seeing it unfold before our eyes. And I think it comes from people being complacent, people saying, oh, he's just crazy. Oh, don't pay him any attention, and trusting and believing that the governments that are surrounding these people are going to step in and stop the nonsense. But as we can see, our Congress and our House of Representatives seems totally powerless behind Donald Trump, and they are just folding. They're not standing up to this man. They're not demanding better. Somebody please enter an impeachment request, because this is really not somewhere we want to go. Like, if this is the nonsense we're dealing with today, can you imagine if he's still in office 3 years from now? Like, what will America look like? So, folks, stay woke. Get woke, wake the hell up, and pay attention. And if you don't know who your congressmen and your representatives are, then today, please find out who they are and write to them, call them, and let them know that they have got to stand up to this bully and get him out of the White House. So that's it for me, guys. You can leave a comment if you want to. You leave anything crazy in my comments, I will delete them. We can have constructive conversation, but we're not going to have racist remarks and all of that craziness going on. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their weekend. Bye-bye.